Margaret Josephs. This is your sixth consecutive season on The Real Housewives of New Jersey, which is so crazy to think about. How does season 13 stack up to any other season you've been a part of? I mean, if the premiere is any indication, it's full of drama.
I know. Every time I start a season, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so calm. What are we going to argue about this year? But it came out strong, lots of drama, lots of undercurrent. We have some new ladies. So it's just as fabulous as everything else, maybe even a little more.
And how do you love too being the host of what accidentally turns into, like, there's so many fights that go on at your house at the photo shoot. But how was that? How was hosting the first chaos?
You know what? I always host the first chaos. I hosted the fight with Jackie and Teresa. I hosted this with, Dolores and Jennifer. When do I not host chaos?
It's always the best way to kick a season off. Chaos at the Josephs residence. Were you surprised at how explosive things got between Dolores and Jennifer?
Yeah, I'm surprised it escalated so much because it was for charity. But when alcohol is involved and Jennifer is involved, it's not surprising.
She does find her way to sip some tequila and then just speak her mind. I guess it's her mind that's coming out. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It was funny because I didn't hear everything that she had said. So when she called Dolores an old handbag, I was like, who could ever say that about my Dolores?
I know. Also, yeah, Dolores is not an old handbag. If anything, she is like a freshly packaged Birkin. Like,
exactly.
Her,
yes, she's much more valuable than any Chanel.
Yeah. What kind of journey do you and Jennifer go on this season? Because in the trailer, we see you say you have no friends. She's like, you have no family. So tell us about the drama that you two experience.
Well, the truth is, I came back thinking everything was fine with myself and Jennifer. Even during last season, I had texted her privately. I said, I know this is hard for you to watch back. I was very loving and attentive to her. You saw it last reunion. I felt sorry for her. I was apologetic to her. But she came back wanting to, obviously kill me, murder me, very aggressive towards me, meeting with people behind my back, trying to ruin me. It makes me feel like her tagline is even about me. She's obsessed. And obviously, that's the way she is.
That's what it seems.
So it's not good.
It's not. Okay. So not good. Okay.
Not good.
And I'm guessing too, that means the friend that she was kind of chasing down of yours. Are you guys good, or what's going on with that?
Oh, the friend that she was speaking to with me? No, never. No. That relationship has long sailed way even before she met with her. And it's actually sad and unfortunate, but I can't even speak about that person because I would never say anything bad about them, but I think their character speaks for itself.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's damaged goods.
After making amends with Jennifer last season, why do you think she wanted to murder you this season? What was the intention there?
I think she obviously cannot recover and blames all of her issues on me. And that's what it was. I think when you aren't authentic to who you are in your own heart, and, I think I revealed something about herself that she has not dealt with.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems like she and Bill go through it, just judging from the trailer. Do you think that maybe the issues she was experiencing in her marriage impacted the way that she behaved in the group? Was it maybe some displaced anger or just some negative energy?
Yeah, of course, for sure. But that's, what, I think we're all at a certain age that we have to take responsibility for our own behavior, and her displaced anger has been displaced against me since she met me.
Yeah. And I'm glad too now that there are some like new faces in the mix. So you can, when Jennifer's being a little like too much, you can go hang out with Jen and Rachel. I don't know how much you're hanging out with Danielle, just from what we see at the cast photos, but Jen and Rachel, they seem fun. Was it fun adding in some fresh blood to the cast?
Oh, I was, the new girls, they're amazing. Obviously, Jen Fessler's my good friend. I adore her. She's funny. Rachel Fessler, even though Rachel Fessler is Jen Fessler's daughter. I'm obviously crazy. Rachel Fuda is amazing. Even though she's, much younger, very mature, old soul, so fun to be around. Listen, when Danielle first came in the group, I loved her. I welcomed her in. obviously, someone got in her brain and, but what am I going to say? I welcome everybody in.
It seems like the new girls, so you got Fuda and Fessler over with the Marge and Melissa and Jackie of it all. Then you have Danielle with the Aydin and Teresa of it all. To what do you attribute that divide? Why do you think these new girls went over here? Obviously, you're very close with Jen Fessler, but when it comes to Fuda and Danielle, why do you think they sort of chose, polarizing opposite ends of the
I just think it's the way our brains work, I just think it's, logic over, I don't know. You tell me. Logic over, I can't explain it. I think we're not we're fun girls. We don't hold the drama too long. We're not mean girls. We say it the way it is and then move on from it. We can reason. And I guess, that's just the way it is. And the other ones are just not like that. They hold grudges for years on end. And maybe that's the way Danielle is. Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, speaking of holding grudges, I thought it was very brave of you, Marge, in the premiere when you say straight to Teresa, like to her face, you are a grudge holder. I guess at that point you had nothing to lose, but I can't imagine calling Teresa Giudice a grudge holder to her face. Tell me about that lunch and why you agreed to try and make amends with Teresa after such a volatile experience at the reunion and after she kind of threw an entire table on your face.
Yes. Well, I'm not a grudge holder. I want to hear everybody out. I like to know what their thought process is. Where is this coming from? I think Louie, said he was working with her. She said she was going to therapy. I was surprised right out of the gate that she wanted to discuss with me what was going on. And, I know we had ended on a horrible, horrible place. I was surprised about it, but I was willing to have a sit down with her, but I want to say how I felt. Is this about optics? Is this for real? Do you just want to do this so we could smooth things over? So, you don't look bad. I mean, she said she was sincere. She had texted me after, please believe her. She's sincere. I really felt it was sincere. I've given people numerous chances. At this point, I don't know how sincere it really was.
I know. I feel there are almost some moments too where you're kind of like, because Louie seems to want to have just like sweep things and make things good. It's like, is she sincere or is she sincerely doing it for Louie? It almost seems sometimes.
Yes. I think Louie, has worked with Teresa to be more therapeutic. But, if you're so therapeutic, people don't hold grudges, you move past it. You do. I'm sorry, you do. I mean, people have done horrible things to me. She's had my hair pulled. Danielle Staub has pulled my hair. You don't see me talking all over town about her and holding grudges. You just don't. I mean, I don't want her as a big part of my life. We're not having dinner, but I'm not sitting here, trashing her all over town. I'm just not.
It was really interesting to see how like Louie has been so encouraging of Teresa making amends with you. Why do you think he wants you guys to get along or try to facilitate a moment for you two to get along?
I think he realized that I wasn't meeting with any of his exes. I think he realizes maybe what my intentions were, just to I like to get the dirty laundry out and then you can move past it. Maybe he realized that. I think he also realizes that I've probably been in therapy a long time and that I, can speak my mind and I'm pretty grounded since he's been in therapy a long time. So I think he can see where I come from. And maybe he felt that, I can give Teresa solid advice, not that she takes it when I give it. So maybe that's what he felt.
I think that's what's so good about, because I think it is such a true thing. Like once the dirty laundry's out there, it's there and you can clean it up. And I feel that's so impressive, your approach to life. It seems you're just like, here's my story, pick it apart in front of me, because if you have questions, ask, you kind of do like a show and tell. And I feel it makes you stronger against the women, because like whenever they try to say something at you, you're like, I told you that. So why would
I told you that? They're very big at weaponizing it against me, weaponizing my past against me. Well, I discuss it. I say what I'm sorry for. I say I've made mistakes. I never say I'm proud of all my behavior. That's not what it's about. But it's very interesting. It is very interesting when people can't own any of their behavior and pretend everything's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you are so good at at owning it. You're like the Lisa Rinna of Jersey.
Well, listen, that's what, Teresa called me the Lisa Rinna of New Jersey and said, I'm messy, I'm this, I should be canceled, all of those things. But I think Lisa Rinna was an amazing housewife.
As are you. Now, just going back to that lunch with Louie really quick, during your conversation with Louie and Teresa, you did express to Teresa that you were just concerned for her. That's the only reason you kind of put the dirty laundry out there. Do you still have concerns for Teresa and Louie given his past?
No, nothing. You know what? I think I aired my concerns. I think they dealt with it. I think, they're both grownups. I think Teresa, we discussed what was out there. That was it. It's done. It's over. They're married. They're happy, whatever.
Okay. All right.
Right? Yeah. It's like, it's fine. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So you went to the wedding, and a few months ago, you told us that you didn't stay for too long, Margaret. How long did you stay?
No, I stayed. You know what? I watched her walk down the aisle. I stayed for the cocktail hour, which was like 2 hours. I gave a gift. I got to see Teresa. And then, you know what? And then I left. I gave them my well wishes. I did the best for both parties involved. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm so close. Melissa and Joe are one of my best friends in the world. And I went to honor Teresa and Louie, and I did the best for both parties involved. And what was in my heart.
I love how in the trailer, there's that moment where it's like a close up of your face, but we can also see Chanel Ayan from the Real Housewives.
Yes.
Of Dubai. Did you have the best time with her?
You know what? I was really chatting with her. Joe got to speak to her more than I did, and he loved her, and he thought she was great. He thought she was a lovely woman.
She is so amazing. And I love that we got to meet her last year on Dubai, but I'm also really excited to meet Paulie.
I know. Paulie's a big personality. I think people are really going to love him. It's going to be a wild ride. And what I love his little accent, his voice. I love an Irish brogue. Who doesn't find an accent very sexy?
It's so sexy.
Oh my God. Yeah. It makes
so
me melt.
Sexy.
He's so cute, and it really seems like he and Dolores are so smitten with each other, and it's going to be so interesting to see how that dynamic plays out with Frank Catania Sr. Even in the premiere episode, like Frank just seems so worried that things aren't going to be the same with Dolores anymore. What was it like watching that whole situation unfold as friends of everyone involved?
I think it's very hard because Frank and Dolores have a beautiful friendship and a beautiful family, and their relationship has been so they have a special relationship. And I think, of course, you don't want that to change. And it doesn't have to change because nothing will ever change them being a family. But of course, it is emotional. It was hard. It was emotional for me as well. You know what I mean? To watch it, because listen, of course, Frank isn't going to see Dolores as much, but Frank has a beautiful girlfriend also, Brittany, who he's been with for a while. So I think they could be a new version of a family. That's just what it is.
I know that's the part that really interests me, and this might be my like Taurus coming out, because I get very stern and very when I'm like, why can Frank has his girlfriend and everything's all fine and dandy? Dolores can't have a little luck of the Irish.
I know, no, Dolores can have the luck of the Irish, exactly. But I think what it is just like men are different. How can I say that? Men are different.
And the men in New Jersey are certainly different. I think that obviously of all the house husbands across the franchise, they're the most iconic. They're the most beloved group of guys. And so this season with new women comes new men. How did Danielle and Fuda's husbands fit in? Paulie, I'm sure Jen Fessler's husband got into the mix a little bit. Like, how did that impact the male dynamic?
You know what? The men are always great. The men always seem to fit in seamlessly. They don't get into the drama of it all. They just fit in great. And I think Jersey husbands are just really the best. They love their women. They're supportive. We're all very blessed.
I feel what's better proof of that than all of them like taking off their shirts to have a little photo shoot for the girls, because I mean that was a pretty great kickoff. That
was a big thing, and we loved it. And yes, I mean, come on, they all took off their shirts. Hot bodies and dad bodies unite.
And I mean, speaking of, because I mean, Jackie even says herself, she got herself a pretty hot man with Evan, and we love We're
We
major.
coconut oiled him. We sprayed him with Pam, FYI. I'm so worried he was going to get on my good wallpaper. I'm like, relax, people. He's in my bathroom spraying himself with Pam. I'm like,
I mean, it was worth it. The photos of Evan turned out chef's kiss. So
they did.
And how was Jackie's dynamic this season? Because of course we know she's a friend of, and she took the step back to kind of focus on herself a little bit. But did you still have fun with her? And how did she get in the mix with the other ladies? Because we saw some like a little tension between her and Rachel on the first episode. I'm not sure if that's a slow burner or just a one-off thing.
You know, Jackie, to me, it didn't feel any different with Jackie. I mean, she's still one of my closest friends. She was right in there with us. She traveled with us. So I felt like it was the same dynamic with Jackie. She was just great, just herself. And I was glad that she could focus on herself and her health. And she looks amazing, feels great, still her sharp personality. So it was just the same.
what can you tell us about Jackie and Danielle? Because I gotta say, I love that moment in the trailer when Danielle's like, this is how I talk. And Jackie's like, get your hands out of my face. So it seems like kind of like you, she might not get along with Danielle too much this season.
Well, you know what? It was just like, I think her and Danielle had a few moments, which I thought were funny, but they're both originally from Staten Island, but Jackie doesn't speak with her hands and Danielle has very long fingers and, they were moving, all over. And Jackie's like, what's going on here?
Oh my God. Well, Marge, earlier you mentioned that you think someone might have been in Teresa's ear. And that just makes me think to a moment in, not Teresa's ear, in Danielle's ear. Sorry, I was thinking of Teresa.
It's okay.
In the trailer, she is spreading those rumors with Jennifer Aydin. Do you think about the Gorgas? Do you think that Teresa had something to do with that gossip making its way around New Jersey?
It's funny. I don't know about that. I know it's only happened. I wish Teresa would have prevented it. I don't think she had. I don't know. You know what? I don't know, but I know Jennifer sure as hell did.
Wow.
Jennifer's had her eyes on the Gorgas for years now, it seems. I don't know. I mean, I feel like from vocal on social media to everything like that, it's like it seems like Melissa and Joe are kind of like, okay, we don't get along, that's fine. But Jennifer is like, no, I need to yell at you to let you know how much.
I don't understand why the venom for myself and Melissa is so desperate. I don't really understand it. I don't.
And it's interesting in the premiere. I mean, Jennifer Aydin even says like, I'm in a better place with Melissa today than I am with Dolores. How did things get bad again between her and the Gorgas?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't understand it myself. I don't know if she feels that she can't be nice to them because she's friends with Teresa, but I think Teresa would appreciate Jennifer trying to get them back together like I did, as opposed to separating them.
Do you think that you're still capable of doing that in the future?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I could, it's like fixing peace in the Middle East. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're going to need your power tools on your pigtails for that.
I know. I got to put the pigtails back on for that, right? The power tools and the pigtails. Get the drill out.
Was it super frustrating seeing Melissa and Teresa's relationship unravel as you were rebuilding your friendship with Teresa? I can't imagine how hard that must have been for you to navigate.
It was, you want the truth? It was emotional. It upset me. It broke my heart because I know that it was painful for Melissa. It was hurtful. It was sad. I know Joe was sad as the season was happening. And I know Teresa at the time was sad. And the perspective, I don't think is always based in reality. What was happening with Teresa, it was just sad. The whole thing was just sad. And I was trying to make heads and tails of it. And it was very hard to watch. It was very hard to watch with family. And I tried endless times to try and, make amends with them.
It's one of those hard situations where it's like, nobody is winning here. Cause like, it's like, there's just so much sadness, and it almost kind of mirrors in a weird way, like Beverly Hills, when you see like the Hiltons and the Richards going through all this stuff. And you're like, oh, if only you guys can kind of just like look at each other and remember stuff and kind of have it.
But I agree. It's sad. It's just, there's just no other way to describe it, but it's a long time. The waters run deep. And I think when you're talking about things from 10 years ago, that's a problem.
Right. Well, I mean, on the bright side, I think that both parties are relieved to just not deal with each other in present time. Like, at least they can live their lives separately and don't have to talk.
Just like don't talk about it. Just like don't talk about it. And just don't talk about it. Yeah, I think that's the healthiest thing at this point.
I mean, things certainly got heavy on this season of New Jersey, but what was the most fun part about season 13? Like, who'd you have the most fun with? What are you excited for the fans to see?
You know, I think our trip to Ireland, I think people are going to be so excited to see. It really was spectacular. Hands down, was the best trip I've ever taken on our show. I think Melissa said the same thing. I think Teresa, I think we all had the best time. I think it was our best trip ever.
Was your hand or was your wrist healed by then, or did you still have to?
You know what? I was out of my cast, but I still had to be super careful. You know, but we had such a good time. We stayed, which you guys will see, in a beautiful castle. You guys will see. It's pretty fabulous.
And,
oh my God, I love that.
I love that. And it's so exciting. You get to travel to fun places. And also you got to travel to like new arenas in your career too this year, because what you're sipping, you launched a brand.
I know. I launched a new brand. Thank you. Yes. Soiree with Lexi. It's a mocktail because, you know, obviously I'm with people who indulge in the cocktails, and Lexi loves the cocktail. I'm the mocktail queen. She's the cocktail queen. But I said, I always wanted to feel part of the party. So we launched Soiree together, Lexi and I, and it's a mocktail line that could be used as a mixer as well. We have 4 flavors. It's all natural, real juice, low in sugar, 45 calories for 12 ounces. It's great. We're super excited. It's rolling out to stores in the next few weeks. And right now it's available on the website at Drink Soiree.
The packaging is so cute. I'm looking at it right now. The colors, the font. What flavor is that you're sipping right now?
This is the cucumber. It's the Cool Breeze, cucumber, elderflower, lychee, and mint.
I love it.
And
okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah, and you and Lexi, like you guys work together so much. You're together so much.
Yes.
How is like, do you guys like have almost like times where you like sit and talk about your relationship? Because I feel like you guys are almost married.
Yes, you know, it's funny. Lexi and I were almost like sister wives, but Joe and I always say, it's like Joe considers Lexi his daughter. I said, but that's so weird because I consider Lexi my sister. Lexi and I have been together 15 years. She started off working for me. We weren't friends first, but then of course she became our family. Joe had given her, you know, Lexi's father had passed away. So when Lexi got married, Joe gave her away at her wedding. She's helped me build my brand. I am nothing, truthfully, without Lexi. I could not survive without her in my business, my life. I don't know if they really show it on the show, but Lexi is separated from her husband. She currently lives in our guest house with her son. So I get to be with her every day. And starting a brand with her was super important to me because she deserves to own her own business, grow something on her own, because she's helped me so much to grow my business and change my life. I want to do something that changes her life as well.
I feel like I need a whole like Marge and Lexi like docu-series. I feel like there's a lot of story there. I don't even know if I know how you two met.
Yes. I don't know if you recall Polly from one of our episodes who we visited in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Polly, it's very funny. Polly's, it's a whole convoluted story. I'm going to try and make it fast. Polly's brother and Lexi's aunt worked together for a family. Lexi was here visiting her aunt. They asked Lexi to work a trade show. I was working my trade show with Macbeth Collection. They said, Lexi, you're like a mini Marge, obviously taller, skinnier, blonder version, and British. And they said, we have to introduce you. That was 15 years ago. And I said, Lexi, you should work for me. And she goes, oh, this Margaret's never going to call me. And she said she recalls the day of her working down Park Avenue. And I said, hey, I'm doing a store in Grand Central Station for the holidays. Could you work for me? And she has never left me ever since.
Wow.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I had an apartment in the city. Her and her boyfriend had moved in there at the time. And she worked for my ex-husband and myself for years. She traveled with us. So she's been through 2 husbands with me. Joe and I were in the delivery room when she gave birth. We are bonded for life.
It's like a New York friendship rom-com.
Yes. I mean, I went through all her boyfriends with her. She would come home from her dates and get in the bed with me and Joe and tell us about them. Yes.
I love it. It was so meant to be. How do you think Lexi would fare as a housewife?
Ooh.
If you think I'm tough, Lexi's tougher.
Really?
Yeah,
I
she's
think
much tougher than I am. But it would come off better because she'd say it with her British accent.
yeah. Things are more forgivable in a British accent for sure.
It hits different than a Jersey accent.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know if it would be as offensive when she tells them to
yeah.
Ooh, am I allowed to curse?
Always.
We'll bleep you. Whatever.
Okay.
All right, Marge. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It is always such a joy and a pleasure and an honor to catch up with you.
Thank you.
Danny and I can't wait to watch the rest of the season, see you sparkle and shine.
And soiree it away.
Yeah.
Soiree away. Thanks, guys. I love you.